Gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Striker.
My name is Luba.
Our channel is about dating in Ukraine and navigating your way through it. Also, subscribe to our Telegram group. Link is in the description below if you want to know what goes on behind the scenes with our tours. And also just life and random stuff that's happening in Ukraine. In Telegram, we post quick videos. We've also got two other channels. One is On The Go, which is behind the scenes of Heart Rocket, and the other one is Rocket Life, which is pretty much like my life in Ukraine, moving here, what you need to do, things that I found out the hard way, etc., etc. Go check it out if you're interested about life in Ukraine. Now, I have a question for you.
Oh.
And this question is, what do you know that they don't? What do you know that the client sometimes doesn't know? You, as a matchmaker who's been in this industry for more than 12 years, what do you know?
How would they know?
How would they know?
So basically, I think that the question is about when you have a matchmaker, when you have an assistant, when you have a wing woman, however you want to call us, you have a person who can take care of some small, little, unpredictable situations. And by that, what do you want to say?
I was going to say, do you have any examples that you could say?
Yeah, I was actually going to say an example because this will give the best idea, right? So sometimes when I just started being an interpreter, and I was always protecting guys because who know me, I can't walk the street without doing and helping somebody. I need to either rescue somebody from the pigeons or somebody offend somebody. And recently I've been at the market and mother hit her son so badly that the kid can't talk, and I still was I need to be even there. So, and I always I've been very a detective, I was very serious, and I was honestly trying to see what is this girl about. And the girls were very, very close to me. They never open up, and they thought that I'm against them.
Closed, you mean?
Closed, like they don't want to share with me anything. They don't want to give me their thoughts or anything. So, and I understand that this strategy is completely wrong. I need to be friends with them to understand what is going on, to be able to play in the same team with our clients, to be able to make them open up with me, not because I'm faking, just really just to feel relaxed, not thinking that I'm against them. I'm for them, and I'm willing to give them the best advice or answer their question if they need it.
You're talking about the ladies, right?
I'm talking about the ladies.
Yeah.
So I make this skill to work, and I become I am friends with all of our clients, female and male. So, but there's something that sometimes ladies, they're scared to share with a guy, or they don't know if it is appropriate to ask, or they have a question and concern, but they don't know how to ask because they don't want to sound rude or arrogant, or maybe they don't know how to say that in English, but they always can call me, message me and ask me, and I will somehow slightly get to make it work between them. I will find out what actually happened, why this happened, and it will be okay. And sometimes it helps a lot in the relationship. But one story that I want to share, it was actually very funny because it was not when the people was already in a relationship. It was on a first date. So we had a couple that met at the restaurant in Ukrainian, very nice restaurant in Kyiv near the Dnipro River. So it was very, very nice there. And before, this was our kind of last days of the tour. And the guy was absolutely hilarious. I thought the striker is pretty funny, but he was, no, I will not say that he was less, but he was very funny as well. And the whole week that we've been together, it was just very, very funny all the time. His facial expressions, his attitude to things, it was December, it was cold. And yes, I know, dear, that you're watching now, so yes, it is about you. But even our train ride and all this kind of stuff. So he was very adventurous, very fun to be with, and it was very cool time. So we went on a date, and they sit next, usually it's kind of I always ask how the guy feel more comfortable sitting next to each other or across, because somebody don't like when you sit, in the table between you. So it's kind of the boundary. For example, striker prefer, right, I mean,
opposite
opposite
for the first
for
date.
the first date. Yeah, somebody like this, and it's a little bit awkward for me as well. Like I like to see the eye contact and etc. But when you sit like this, you need to like always turn. But anyway, they sit like that, and they've been talking. He dressed very nice. She came in a very nice dress, and they've been talking. And at the end of the date, I see that the connection is like there, but I can't understand. Like I think that she was very cautious, and he was kind of maybe a little bit tired. It was evening. So we went with her to the restroom, and I said, "What is your impression? Like, what do you think? Like, how was your date?" Because she was speaking good English, so I was actually coming back and forth. She said, "Very nice gentleman. Like, you can tell that he has a very good manners, very nice, but I a little bit worried that he's a little bit too boring for me." I said, "What? Boring?" She said, "Yeah, I'm about like adventures. I'm about like hiking. I'm about traveling. I'm about this and that." And I'm listening and thinking, it's about him. It is completely about him. It's not about anybody else. And she said, like, it's just like we're sitting talking, and he's very interesting to talk to, but I don't know if he has this drive in life, if he has. And I said, you know what? I don't know him that well, but one thing I can promise is that he is not boring. Like he is so much of an adventurer, and like you will love with him all the time. He said, yeah, it would be good if it is true. So we finished on that, and we get back. She left home, and I said, so dear, what do you think? How was your impression of her? He said, very nice lady, like beautiful blue eyes. I was like really like so beautiful, but I'm just a little bit worried that she's a little bit boring for me. And it was so funny. They would never ever say that to each other, right? They would never share that to each other.
In fact, they would probably, if it was a real life, they'd probably never talk to each other again, because they're two boring people in each other's eyes.
And I said, and I was like laughing, and I usually not say such things, but I said, you know what? She actually think that you are boring. And like he started laughing, and the next day, like we arranged a date for them in mini golf, and he actually played golf very well. And so it was a mini golf. It was a place where they can interact, they can dance, they can, drink something. And it was so cool. They was laughing the whole time. She won, even though like he was trying, but like she won, I think. And it was such a great experience. And I'm happy and they are now engaged, and they're very happy together. But I just can't imagine that if I would not be there at that moment, if I would not take her to the restroom and I would not ask her this question, Straker is right. She probably would never, they would probably never meet again, because they would just think, it's not for me. So
and to be fair, it's probably happened to us all before in the past, where you've been on a date and you've thought that this person is not right for me because of some reason, and your own intuition may be correct, or maybe it's wrong. Like our client and the lady that he went on the first date with their intuition was completely way off, and maybe it was just nerves that they didn't want to be too kind of like out there and crazy.
They was like sitting like that, and it was like what you should do, put the arms around her.
Yeah, you're limited.
You're limited.
You're very limited.
And even maybe if he would sit across of her, like he would have a little bit more space, for like hands. But because they were sitting next to each other, it was actually, it was different. So,
and this is, I've talked to a bunch of guys about the advantages of having an assistant or a wing woman, and this is it exactly. And if you actually understand, the term wingman, it's an old term. It's been around for 20, 30 years. Who knows? Of the, if you have a buddy who's your wingman, the true reason for the wingman to be there is to push your value up, is to increase your value. It's not to just jump on the overweight girl so you can get this girl. That's not how it's supposed to work. If you actually have a look at pickup artistry, if you decide think that's a good idea for whatever reason, that's what the wingman is for. It's to drop little hints about your buddy's value and vice versa for you to him. That's what the wing woman does. She can not increase your value, but put your value as to where it's supposed to be, because no man we shouldn't say things like, I own this, I've done this, whatever. That's the wing woman's job, is to sort of drop this. Oh, you should tell her about, how you went to Africa on the safari the other, and tell her about all of a sudden, she starts to build a picture, but it's not him saying it, because if he says it, he could be lying, but if it comes from someone else, of course she could be lying as well, but she's more likely to trust a Ukrainian woman who's doing her job, that she's built rapport with. As she said, she becomes their friend, and to drop these little hints and let the lady
and also
figured out for
explaining a
herself.
lot of stuff, like religion stuff or like anything, because like we try to have our wing women and myself as well, like with people with experience, or if they don't, like I explain to them a lot of stuff. And recently it was interesting, like I haven't heard it for a long time. So we did a rocket match, and there was one lady that the guy really wants to talk to, but her English was limited, and I understood that if they meet in real life, they may like use a Google translator, they may like manage that, but on a video call it would be more difficult. So I decided to translate, even though like I really prefer when the ladies speak English and I just can observe the stuff. So, and it was her first time, no. So I was translating for her for the first time, but she'd been on other dates before. And he said something, and then I not just translate, I also add something, and I said like, yeah, like this actually. And she said, wow, like it's so different. I said, what different? She said, you are so different. It's so interesting talking to you because you're explaining stuff. Because she said, I've been on several dates, and the girls just translate, and they just really like, I can't understand, but they just keep saying something. They not like, you actually give the meaning like to what he's saying. And I said, thank you, it's nice, but it's what we do. And sometimes I even call like our job not just a translator, because like translator you can hire maybe some student that can translate, but I am literally like an interpreter. I interpret what people want to say, because it's a lot of like another misunderstanding that we have one day. It was when the lady asked the guy if he lives in a house, and for some reason, because of his past experience, because of some trigger, he was worried that she only wondering about his income, that she only wants to know about his money, and then she care like if he lives in a fancy house. And he was very mad, and he said, Luba, she's not serious, she's a bad girl, blah, blah, blah. And it was his problem like that he has in mind, and he was thinking about that. When I asked her, I said like, listen, I have a question for you. Like while I was talking, you asked about like if he lives in a house or an apartment, like why did you ask that? And she said, like I just like, I'm from the countryside and I've been raised like around a lot of animals. For me it's very important. I really want to have like dog and animals, maybe some chicken. I want to have a garden. For him, if he would understand what she mean, it would be beautiful thing, because he was living in a countryside and he was looking for a country girl. And it would be amazing like if he would understand. But again, he was so angry about that if I would not jump in and I would not explain that thing, they will not even talk to each other ever again. So having somebody on your side, it is important. And it's nothing to do that you're clueless or you're useless or you don't know how to deal with that. No, it's just like we did a video about like it's not normal, it's like it's unusual a little bit, like dating through especially in different country.
Yeah, it's maximizing your time doing this. Guys do this for years, like literally 10 years, 15 years, some guys do it. It's maximizing the time you want to do it, and the majority of our clients, I would say 90% have started some form of relationship. Some of them even doing the K1 or in relationships where they're coming back. They maximize that time that they were here, and most of them it's usually about 2-ish weeks that they come here. They maximize that time. You think about guys that come over here, maybe hire a cheap interpreter, go to some cheaper agency, and they're doing it over and over and over again. Each time maybe it's a lot cheaper, but I think over time, not only will it probably equal the same amount of money, but think of 10 years. How much money would you pay right now to get 10 years back of your life,
Priceless.
So it's maximizing your time, and that's, it's hard to explain to someone who's never done this the importance of having somebody that's on your side, but is also on the side of the lady that you go on a date with as well, because you just moved the camera with your foot.
Sorry.
That's how we zoom out with the camera, but also on her side as well, because if Luba can become friends, and she's friends with all of the ladies that that we meet along the way, and quite often one client from last month will go on a date with this lady this month if it matches. It's important for her to be friends with Luba so that she can ask her these questions, see how serious she is, or how much she likes this guy. What's the feedback? Can she get an honest opinion? And that's the importance of it, and that's something that we pride ourselves in.
It helped to build a relationship a lot, because like sometimes people, and this is the biggest problem of nowadays, with all amount of information, people still scared to talk to each other and communicate and say like what she like or what she dislike. She thinks that it is bad or rude, and sometimes we sacrifice a lot and we unhappy in our relationship if we are quiet about things. So this is what we do. And I think it was interesting to share with you some inside information. So,
and that's just one story. I hear these
Yeah,
stories
yeah.
on pretty much every single tour when Luba and I have our midnight phone call about
Pillow
how the
talks.
day how the day went with the guys. It's full of stories about how Luba sort of stepped in and managed to sort of swing something around or organise something. There's so many stories, you know, and it's you can't even compare that to hiring a student for.
But you know what
$4
is
an
our
hour.
difference? Is that we do everything ourselves, you know? And this is big difference because not many companies can actually say that, you know, I went and did it. Like I'm doing that. Yes, they manage, and maybe it's wrong. Maybe our business model is completely wrong when like we do everything ourselves. But you know, as long as I can, I will do that. Yes, we may have some assistance, we may have some help, we may see, but we always control. Striker control his part. You know, I control my part, and we do everything ourselves. And even like, you know, like everything, every single part of our business, it's us. And this is like what make it different because like I think that I care, you know, I care a lot, and sometimes I care too much, and it a little bit destroying. But you know, when I see the result, it makes me happy. It fulfills me again, and yes, I believe that it can work. But you just need to have the right resources, and we are there for you.
Okay, video for today. I guess we'll see you guys next time.